Hi guys, Serena here. Thanks for joining me today on my YouTube channel. Now, today I'm going to swatch my Kuretake Starry Colors set, which I got quite a while ago. So if you'd like to see how they come out, take a look. Now, I just finished doing a video of the Uli Chroma Blends neon watercolors, just for fun, just for a fun little swatching there. So I have the paper all set up. This is a Stonehenge Aqua Cold Press Black. It is meant for watercolors, and it's put out by Legion. They're quite thick. These are, I wonder if it says on here, the 300 GSM 140 pound. Feels a little thicker, but I'll take their word for it. And I have it set up for some additional swatching space for the Starry colors. So let's open these up and take a look. I like the packaging right off the bat because even though you've got that little bit of plastic in the windows here that lets you see the paints, it's cardboard. So you're not, putting a lot of plastic in the landfill. That's a plus right there. But let's take a look at these, and I'll pre-wet these because I've seen people do this before. They've been saying that they get better coverage when they pre-wet the paints. So I'll just put a little drop in each. And these are plastic pans inside a paper cardboard container, which is fine. I mean, if you're not a sloppy person, you can get by with that. You're not going to have a problem. So I'll just pre-wet my brush a little bit. And I'll start with the first color here. Looks like you have to wet it quite a bit. I might let that soak in a little bit more. And these do tend or lend themselves to a dark paper, so I think I would use them on a dark paper rather than as highlights. But let's take a look and see. So I can see how you can see through as you go down. It's not as saturated as I expected it to be. It seems like it doesn't want to activate so readily. You really have to work to get this on the pan, out of the pan. I do like these colors though. Look at those rich colors. There's so many different variations in the metallics. I can see using these for just, highlights. And there's that one. And these go by numbers, so I don't see really what these would be called. I don't know if it says it on the package. No, just numbers. So let's take a look at how these work, or how these look on white paper. And you don't see a lot of that. You don't see very much to it. All right, we'll keep going. They really are nice in the pan. I wish they were more sparkly on the page, or maybe I'm just not giving it enough time, or rubbing it enough to get the actual glitter out of it. It seems like it's just not very shiny. You can see the page right through it there. In fact, let me try this while we're at it. I'm going to take a look at all of these. They are shiny, but you can't really see the color of the shine, like the gold color. You see the shininess more than the color, which is a little bit disappointing. But let's try number 4 here. As we get more into the deeper colors, maybe they'll be more visible. Not quite sure why they put this lighter one after the darker one. Seems like this would go first, then this, then that. And in fact, that's the way I'm going to swatch it on my page, because I like going light to dark. Let's take a look here. And it just kind of doesn't really fade out like watercolors do. I don't know why I would expect them to. They're completely different. But that one's quite saturated. You can really see that one shining. I hope you can see that on the camera. I don't have a monitor, unfortunately, so I can't see what you're seeing. until I actually finish the video, which is a little bit of a drawback. Let's see. That picked up a lot more on my brush too, it feels like. But it's not very opaque. It still has that see-through quality to it. And let's check it on here. That's the next one to the darkest. That one looks like a true gold. That one's a little less saturated, you can see. But it does have that sheen to it. Still has that shininess. And let's try the last one, which is really saturated. I mean, it's really dark, not saturated. I guess the saturation has to do with how much I'm mixing it here. And it seems to take a lot of mixing. So, fair warning there. But on the plus side, I could see a lot of nice effects in highlights using these. If you wanted to, if you do fantasy dragons or something like that, or dewdrops on botanicals, you could have some very nice highlights. That's a very nice color. I like that deep color. In fact, I wish they would add a little more of the copper blends to this rather than perhaps one of these. It kind of goes from this to that and then add another copper instead of one of those. But it is what it is. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that. If I tip it, you can take a look. I don't want to move it too far up because I might lose the focus on here. But as far as painting on the black, I'm a little bit disappointed. I kind of, let me see if I can tip that without leaking all over. It's going to drip a little bit on some of those. But I do have a Paul Rubens pearlescent paint that I tried on the black, on the reverse side of this. Once that dries enough, I'll tip it for you to have you take a look. Here's the Paul Rubens. And those were quite shiny too. But you got a lot of color in with this. Even the yellows and the golds gave you a little bit more color, a little bit more of saturation on the page than this. But so many people recommended this set that I wanted to try it. We'll wait a while and then I'll go ahead and take the tape off and we'll see how they look when they're complete. Alright, so let's see if I can show you how shiny these are. Now I'm picking up the sheen. Of course I didn't swatch the very, very lightest one, but this gives you an idea of how shiny they are. Of course on white they tend to see through the paper a little, and on black they really see through the paper. Let's take a look at the actual swatches on black. We'll take the tape off and see how it finally looks. Of course, it never comes up smoothly when you want it to. I try to do that at an angle so it wouldn't, but you see how it pulls up quite a bit of the paper. But let's take a quick look and see how these look. I don't know if I can get this close up for you. I'll move it up and see. Okay, here's the close-up. Not really seeing too much of the sheen on this. You saw it more in the other paper, but this is the result. It is shiny, but to be honest with you, I like the Paul Rubens better. Let's take a look at those. These are the Paul Rubens, and those were shinier. I don't know if you can see that. Those were much shinier. I like the effect much better. If you want to see how these performed in the swatch test, I do have another video you can watch of that. I've already done this. But it's a nice set, and it gives you some idea of how the metallics work in comparison to the Kuretake. But I like the Kuretake. They have their place. I know a lot of people use them, and there's nothing wrong with them, but you have to. It seems like you have to give them a little bit more time in wetting, pre-wetting, and rub them quite a bit to activate all the mica in them, or whatever it is that's reflecting. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.